Hi, Darren Mangum here, securities attorney with the law firm of Mangum and Associates. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. Wanted to get on today, talk about a recent development here in Salt Lake City. The SEC has decided to close its regional office here, which is kind of a big deal. During law school, I did an internship here at the Salt Lake City. Back then, it was a district office underneath the Denver office, but it later became a regional office in its own right. But the fallout, the reason why, I mean, the SEC didn't say exactly why, but there was a case that happened last year involving a Utah-based cryptocurrency company, and the fallout of that has resulted in the attorneys for the SEC stepping down, resigning, and the case being dismissed, and I guess citing a gross abuse of power by those attorneys. I mean, whether or not they really intended to mislead the court or not, that's an open question. But the case was involving a Utah-based crypto company called Debtbox. Many of you may have heard of it, but the SEC was bringing an enforcement action, believing that they had failed to disclose material information regarding the business, and they argued to get a restraining order, and they asked the judge to get a restraining order to freeze its assets, which the judge granted because they had alleged to the judge that Debtbox, the founders, were going to be transferring significant assets overseas. And so based on that, the judge issued the order. And in fact, later it came out that that really wasn't the case. They felt like the SEC attorneys had not been 100% truthful about the evidence that they cited. In fact, it came out later that there really was no plan to transfer assets overseas in order to evade the SEC's enforcement action. And so the judge later decided that the SEC's argument was untrue, and that and later required the SEC to pay all of their attorney's fees and I think over $1.8 million in damages. Because what happens if the SEC freezes your assets or freezes your bank account, whether or not you're a crypto company or not, it's very, in most cases, the company does not recover, right? So it's a very super aggressive tactic that the SEC uses. And, obviously they're supposed to only use it. It's kind of like the police pulling out their gun and shooting, and then asking questions later, right? It's that draconian, and they really didn't have any, and in some cases that is justified in order to prevent future losses or the money just all disappearing. But in this case, it turns out that those facts were unfounded. And so anyway, this is a rare case, obviously, where the SEC brings up this kind of action, and then they wind up losing in the end. Now, who really loses in these kind of cases? Well, obviously the investors lose. The company typically goes under, and so it's. But the fallout has been pretty significant. The SEC has decided to close its SEC office, which I don't really think will have an impact. I mean, nowadays, people, they operate across state lines, and so it really is not going to, I don't think, materially impact the SEC's ability to bring enforcement actions and what have you. But it is an interesting turn of events. Usually federal agencies, they don't usually close offices. Usually they're looking to open more and more offices to justify their mandate to enforce the law. But in this case, I think but for this this case, I think maybe the SEC office would probably continue to be open, but they just decided to close it. So, and anyway, this is a interesting development. And in this case, I don't know whether investors are ever going to be made whole. I mean, obviously, you spend quite a bit of money, fighting the SEC, and then, it's good to see in some cases that, the judge definitely sides, obviously just following the facts, right? So, anyway, fond memories of the great people I worked with at the SEC up in Salt Lake years ago. It's been over 24 years ago now, 25 years ago now. But that's kind of where I cut my teeth on, finding out what makes the SEC tick. And anyway, a great start to our securities law practice that we wound up opening about a year later. So anyway, I'll put a link in the description as far as if you're interested in this case. Obviously, we help cryptocurrency companies, follow the law, making sure that they don't find themselves in a similar position. And so, if you have a crypto project, anything related to blockchain, or we're doing a lot of AI type offerings, raising capital for that. Making sure that they're doing it properly under existing SEC rules. If we can help you with any of that, feel free to reach out, call, or if you know of somebody that that this development might be interesting to them, feel free to share this episode with them. And but anyway, thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, and watching our videos. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.